Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. Every month, members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from a monthly selection, and access to daily news digests from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post, as well as guided meditation programs. Between a full-time job in IT and a full-time job in podcasting, it gets harder and harder to sit down and read the books I'm interested in. This is where Audible comes in. I can listen on my daily commute, relaxing, or while out running errands and still get in the books I've been wanting to get into. You can download titles and listen offline anytime, anywhere. The app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets. Now you can try Audible risk-free with a special 30-day free trial by visiting audibletrial.com/nerdery and murdery. That's audibletrial.com/nerdery and murdery. Don't let your busy life get in the way of that great book you've been wanting to read. Go get your free trial of Audible today. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. This is Geoffrey, and we've talked about many times before that I experience problems and struggles with my mental health, and really without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy does work. It's helped for me, but what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships at work, or you're not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's really time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles, and it's time to start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And there's a special offer to Nerdery and Murdery listeners. You can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/nerdery and murdery. That's betterhelp.com/nerdery and murdery. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast.
You're listening to the sweet, sensual, and serendipitous sounds of Nerdery and Murdery.
Zig, damn it. Welcome to big episode 70 of Nerdery and Murdery.
Big ol' 70. I'm Zig with your Nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week where we're going to do the highs and the lows. And I think Zig has another playlist for this week. And unfortunately, he forgot to share it with me. So I get to hear this fresh with the rest of you and see if I know any of these songs. So Zig, take it away.
Okay, so we've been doing a lot of indie songs, and I thought there's some other songs that we need to do, not just indie stuff, but how do I put this? This is songs for dancing in the dark, too.
Sheet music.
Smushing music.
All right.
It's a good smushing list. It's a little longer. It's not 10 songs, it's 15. So, first off, honorable mention, Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen, just because I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Let's just do that one real quick. All right. So the first one is I Would Rather Go Blind by Etta James. Now, this was made popular about 15 years ago by the movie Cadillac Records, where Beyonce Knowles sang a version of it. It was good. It's not Etta James good. It's not even close to Etta James good. And I'm not saying that version is bad, but it's not Etta James. Etta James is incredible. It's a blues song that was written by Ellington Jordan and co-credited to Billy Foster and Etta James. It was first recorded by Etta James in 1967, and it was released that year and has subsequently become regarded as a blues and soul classic. Etta James wrote in her autobiography, Rage to Survive, that she heard the song outlined by her friend Ellington, Fungy Jordan, when she visited him in prison. She then wrote the rest of the song with Jordan, but for tax reasons gave her songwriting credits to her partner at the time, Billy Foster, a singer of the doo-wop group The Medallions. Etta James recorded the song at the Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and it was included on the album Tell Mama in the B-side of the single of the same name, which made her number 10 on the Billboard R&B charts. So Tell Mama was the A-side, and I'd Rather Go Blind was the B-side. Again, for our listeners who don't know, you got two sides on a record, on a single. You release a single, you got to release something on the second side, so the B-side. Jerry Wexler produced the album Deep in the Night, but it's titled Blind Girl on track 10. Some critics have regarded I'd Rather Go Blind as of such emotional and poetic quality as to make that release of the great double-sided single of the period. This is a good song to dance to. And Etta James kind of just sang with a heart, almost like she's crying toward the end of it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful song. And, I had to record it on this list, or put it on this list. What do you think about I'd Rather Go Blind? Are you familiar with that one?
Nope. I do not know this song.
Okay. All right. Sananda Maitreya, also known as Terrence Trent D'Arby. In 2000, he changed his name.
Right.
It's called Holding On to You. Like this song was playing in Pet Game all the time. Like you'd walk in the door and this song would be playing in the background. D'Arby legally changed his name to Sananda Maitreya on October 4th, 2001, explaining Terrence Trent D'Arby was dead. He watched his suffering as he died a noble death. And after intense pain, meditation on the new spirit, the new name and new identity. So Terrence Trent D'Arby was pretty big here, both on the pop and soul circuit. But he had 2 or 3 albums in a row that just didn't do very well here. They did pretty well in Europe, so he moved there, released another album, and then realized that nobody was buying Terrence Trent D'Arby albums in the States. So now he basically lives in the Netherlands and records under the name Sananda Maitreya, and he does, sells out concert halls all over Europe. So from 2001 to 2021, Terrence Trent D'Arby or Sananda Maitreya released 9 studio albums. So after he changed his name, he's released 9 albums since then. But this is actually off of one of the last albums he released is Terrence Trent D'Arby, and it's called Vibrator, batteries included. Yeah. It's the 4th album by Terrence Trent D'Arby, released in 1995 on Columbia Records. It was self-written, produced, and arranged, and featured the single Holding On to You, which peaked at number 20 on the UK singles charts. So this song, again, this was real big in Europe. It wasn't real big over here, but you hear it in a movie every once in a while. I think it wasn't big over here because the song's kind of long. Terrence Trent D'Arby is kind of famous for doing long songs after his big breakout hits here. But this is one of those ones, it's very sweet. And jazzy. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely one that people should check out. I have again made the playlist. It is available on our YouTube channel under episode or Nerdery and Murdery EP 70, 15 songs dancing in the dark. But if you just look at EP 70, pull it up. It's listed in our playlist links. Going forward, all of our songs will be there. The next song was on another playlist. It's Ceremony by New Order.
Hey, a song I know.
It's a song by Joy Division, released as New Order. It's the debut single in 1981. The song is the B-side of In a Lonely Place. And it was written and recorded as Joy Division prior to the death of Ian Curtis, but they re-recorded it as New Order. And it's the original single that was the original 12-inch single that was released. The second single that was released in September of 1981 under New Order, not under Joy Division, featured the new member Julian Gilbert. And the latter recording later appeared on the album Substance, or Joy Division Substance. But after the death of Ian Curtis, the remaining members of Joy Division regrouped as New Order. Their first release was a re-recording of The Ceremony as a standalone single back with In a Lonely Place, where guitarist Bernard Sumner took over the lead vocals because Curtis had never transcribed the lyrics to Ceremony because his singing was muted to the point of near inaudibility on all the surviving recordings. Sumner reportedly had to pull them through a graphic equalizer to get the lyrics right because he kind of mumbled when they recorded it for Joy Division. And if you hear the Joy Division version of this song, it's very mumbly. But it's a nice, good, slow song. And you like this one, right?
Oh, I absolutely like this one. We covered this one in an indie episode.
Yeah, oh my God, this song is great. And as I said at the time, it's a good song to smush to.
Yeah, this one I said sounds like it would belong in a movie towards, for a wedding or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and the final lines are watching love grow. Just watching love grow forever. Watching love grow. And I don't sing it like Summer. Summer's kind of off key when he sings, but it's so delicate the way he sings it. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plus, Jillian Gilbert, the guitar in that. Sumner had to concentrate on singing because he'd never really sung and played guitar before. So that great guitar backing riff, that's Jillian Gilbert, who's married to the drummer of New Order. They've been together for, 40 years now. Still going strong. The next one is Erotic City by Prince. This was not released on an album for a long time. It was a B-side of the 1984 single Let's Go Crazy. This is Prince's attempt at doing a George Clinton song.
Okay.
This song is dirty. The backing vocal is Sheila E.
Mm-hmm.
So I've included there's only one picture of Prince and Sheila E. together. It's for two songs because there's a Sheila E. song where Prince sings backing vocals and they were recorded basically at the same time. So the 12-inch version of the 1986 single Boys and Girls also had a dance mix of Erotic City, and it was released as a 3 and a 5-inch CD single in Germany in 89 and 1990 respectively. The artwork of the single features the same image of Prince that was used for the cover of I Would Die For You. The extended version of the latter was included on the B-side of Erotic City. The song was released in two versions. The extended remix was released as the B-side to Let's Go Crazy, while the edit, pitched nearly a key higher, made it to the hits than the B-sides. Erotic City was re-released on CD on the hits and the B-sides in 93 and the Girl 6 soundtrack from Spike Lee's film Girl 6. When delivering his speech prior to the induction of the funk collective known as Parliament Funkadelic into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997, Prince explained that Erotic City was recorded directly after seeing Parliament Funkadelic at the Beverly Theater in Los Angeles in 1983. So yeah, Prince wanted to do a Parliament Funkadelic song, and I think he succeeded. So in our live episode, I talked about PCU.
Right.
One of the best parts of PCU is Parliament Funkadelic covering this song. Now, the song, notably for its sexual references and the use of the word fuck. We can fuck until the dawn, making love till cherries spawn. Erotic City. However, Sheila E. never sang the word funk when she sang it. She said, or fuck. She said she sang the word funk. F-U-N-K. So it could be played on the radio. So if you hear it on the radio, they're actually saying funk, not fuck. They did release a version where Prince was singing fuck. But I mean, honestly, the word sounds so similar, you can't really tell. And the radio is edited to repeat part A of the hook and omit the potentially obscene, misheard lyric in part B because the Federal Communications Bureau came down on KTFM in San Antonio and KZON in Phoenix, Arizona. But yeah, what did you think about this song? What do you think about this tune? You know this one, right?
Yeah, I know it. I know the George Clinton version from PCU. I don't know the Prince version. I'd never heard the Prince version, so my reference just goes to PCU, and it's a great song.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's funky, it's fun, it's nice and low key, but there's also a lot of energy to it.
Right.
My next one is Janet Jackson's That's the Way Love Goes. This was kind of co-written by Janet Jackson and produced by Jackson, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis. Most famous for being basically the rhythm section of Morris Day and the Time. Also a large or a big Prince. They were in Prince's kind of sphere. And Janet Jackson, after she did Control, wanted to work with these guys. So Janet Jackson released this on her fifth album, Janet, which was released in 1993. The song was released on April 20th of that same year as the lead single from the Janet album, written and produced by, again, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. The song's theme of romantic lust saw Jackson transitioning to sensual territory, considered a shocking contrast to her previous release among critics and the public. The song's slow tempo fused R&B, pop, funk, and soul music, which flourishes of down tempo and hip hop music. It received positive reviews from contemporary music critics who praised it as iconic, hypnotic, and an extravaganza. And it's one of her biggest singles. I think most notably because Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis played a lot of the instruments on it, along with Janet Jackson. But it's a slow groove. You know, it's a lot. It received a lot of R&B and hip hop airplay. And I think it even played on the pop stations. Now, the video for it is most notable for having one of the first times you get to see Jennifer Lopez in a video was actually in this video. She's just dancing around the living room with a bunch of other people in Janet Jackson's house. Very young Jennifer Lopez. I think she did this and Show Me the Money right after this, and that's kind of when her career took off.
I thought she was one of the Fly Girls from In Living Color.
She was also one of the Fly Girls, but this is the first time she actually appeared in a music video.
Okay.
She hadn't released any of her own stuff yet. But I didn't include the video because there's a lot of talking in the video, and it kind of ruins the song. So I just in our list, it's just the cover art. But yeah, this is a cool, slow, smooth jam. Have you heard this one?
Nope.
Well, the next one is Lenny Kravitz's It Ain't Over Till It's Over.
Love this song.
Is this not a great song?
I think it's a great song.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just cool, nice mid-tempo beat, kind of a ballad. It was inspired by Motown and what they call Philly soul and Earth, Wind, and Fire. He was inspired by That's the Way of the World by Earth, Wind, and Fire. So it does have an Earth, Wind, and Fire feel to it. And it's based on the quotation by Yogi Berra, "It ain't over till it's over." And he just kind of wanted to throw that in a song. And it's off his second album, Mama Said, which didn't sell very well. His first album sold pretty good, but it was still kind of indie. This one did not sell nearly as well as the first one. But by his third album, Are You Gonna Go My Way, which was huge. It was a mega hit. That's what made him a star. But this is right before that. And I think he's basically writing the song about him splitting up with Lisa Bonet because their marriage was disintegrating when he made this album. And he said it's not just a depression, but a fog. And he didn't know which way was up. So that's why he made the song. He was basically dedicating it to her. I love the strings in this. And the guitar in this is really, really awesome. The next one is a funk song from back in the day. Carl Carlton's She's a Bad Mama Jamma. You don't know this song?
I do not know this song.
Oh, okay. You I am 100% sure you heard this back in the day.
Well, I may have heard it, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
It was originally written by Leon Haywood and became a major R&B hit, earning Carlton a Grammy Award nomination for Best R&B Vocal Performance by a Male. In '82, Carlton's subsequent album, Carl Carlton, went gold because of the She's a Bad Mama Jamma single. And it's since become a staple of compilation albums and soundtracks. The track peaked at number 22 in the U.S., spent 21 weeks on the American charts, 6 weeks longer than his biggest hit, or his less big hit, Everlasting Love. She's a Bad Mama Jamma also spent 8 weeks at number 2 on the R&B soul charts. She's a Bad Mama Jamma was a gold record. Outside of the U.S., it reached number 34 in the UK singles charts. This song was huge. And I included the original video because it's him in an early 1980s tuxedo dancing with a bunch of girls on a stage. This is just a song about a girl he thinks is awesome. She's Bad Mama Jamma. She's as fine as she can be. She's chill. She's fat. She's got all the skills a man could need. The next one is Toni Braxton's "You're Making Me High." You know this one?
No.
It's a lead single from American singer Toni Braxton's second studio album, Secrets, released in 1996. The mid-tempo song represents a joint collaboration between the Grammy Award-winning producer Babyface and Brace Wilson, and was issued in the United States as a double A single with Let It Flow. The airplay hit for it was also in Waiting to Exhale, which is another reason why this song was so big. The beat of the song was originally for singer-songwriter Brandy, but Brandy didn't want it, and Toni Braxton saw it. She's like, "Oh, I can do this. This is going to be awesome." And I included the original video, which does have scenes of Toni Braxton and her friends basically having these men will come up and they'll all hold up signs, numbers on these dudes, and then they have to go down in an elevator. It's actually pretty funny.
I should have done this earlier with Terrence Trent D'Arby, and I'll jump back real quick and then I'll come back here. For me, the Terrence Trent D'Arby song I would have had on here was "Sign Your Name."
Sign Your Name. Sign Your Name Across My Heart.
That's the one I would have had. For Toni Braxton, it would be "Unbreak My Heart."
Unbreak My Heart.
Yeah.
This is a little more sensual than Unbreak My Heart. This is a lot more sensual than Unbreak My Heart, but it also has that sort of that Philly funk feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot less orchestral. It definitely has a 90s feel to it. But yeah, I toyed around with Unbreak My Heart and Sign Your Name Across My Heart. But I kind of like these songs a little bit, just a scotch.
Sure.
Especially because the beat on you make me high is a little bit better.
No, that's fine. I mean, if I have alternatives on here, I'll try to put that on, and then I have when we get to the end, I have one addition that I know is not on your list.
Okay. Well, okay. So before we put this on the website, I need to make sure to add yours to the list.
Okay.
The next one is Michael McDonald, "I Keep Forgetting."
Mm-hmm.
I keep forget, not in love anymore.
Can we move on from this one?
This song gets stuck in people's heads.
Yes, and that's why I want to move on from it.
It's got a great bass line. That's one of the reasons. And the reason it's got a great bass line is because the bass and the drums were the guys from the Brothers Johnson, a funk outfit out of Philadelphia, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also heavily sampled by Warren G and his song Regulate with Nate Dogg, which is what most people know this song by, because the opening is exactly the same. So when it opens, you don't know if you're going to get Regulate or I Keep Forgetting. Just like when Under Pressure opens, you don't know if you're going to get Under Pressure or Ice Ice Baby. The next song is A Love Bazaar by Sheila E. You know this one, right? You
No.
don't know A Love Bazaar?
No.
Okay, so it was recorded about the same time as Erotic City was. I think they may have even been in the same recording session because they were both there recording at the same time. The song is a duet between both Prince and Sheila E., and it appears on Sheila E.'s 1985 album, Romance 1600. It clocks in at 12 minutes and 16 seconds, but the single version is only 3 minutes and 46 seconds in duration. It made its debut in the music movie Crush Groove. Sheila E.'s in Crush Groove. But matter of fact, the video that I included interplays scenes from Crush Groove. The song was a major hit and reached number 1 on the urban radio airplay and dance club play charts on other American charts. A Love Bazaar went to number 2 on the U.S. R&B charts and 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and pop radio airplay charts. The German 12-inch single released is backed by the B-side Save the People, which also served as the B-side for a previous single, Sister Fate. She performs the song as part of Ringo Starr and his All-Star Band during the 2001, 2003, 2006 tours. The club scene from Crush Groove, in which Sheila E. and her band are performing the song, was used for the majority of the music video, with a few scenes from the rest of the film edited in. Now, in that scene, the guy singing backup is a member of her band. I think it's actually Lionel Richie's daughter, Nicole Richie. I think it's actually her biological father that's doing the singing. I know he's in the band. I think he's the one that's doing the backup singing, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's a good groovy tune. The next one is actually an English pop singer, most notable for doing pop songs, but it's called Stop, and the name of the singer is Sam Brown. This is in the school of an old soul song. That's what it sounds like. This song sounds like it was recorded in the mid 60s, but it wasn't. It was recorded by English singer-songwriter Sam Brown from her debut studio album of the same name, in 1988. It was written by Brown, Greg Sutton, and Bruce, Bairodi. She made this album right after she got off the tour with Pink Floyd. She was the blonde backup singer during the Momentary Lapse of Reason tour. The one that just killed Great Gig in the Sky. That is Sam Brown. Matter of fact, I want to say David Gilmour dated her for a while because he was just fresh off his divorce. But yeah, she was on tour with Pink Floyd for like 2 years, and then she got back to England and recorded this album, which was a big hit over there. It wasn't really big over here. It was big a little bit, mostly on the R&B stations, but yeah, it didn't make a big stop. I assume that you had not heard this one before.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, this one, you need to give this one a pass. I think you will dig the shit out of this one. This girl can sing.
Yes, she can. I'm familiar with her for Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Yeah, she loses her mind in the middle of this, during this bridge that she's singing over, and she goes up and down and up and down and just singing her little heart out, tearing up microphones. She's singing so good. My next one is Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing.
And of course, I know this one.
This is a song recorded by American singer Marvin Gaye for his album Midnight Love in 1982. I debated on putting another Marvin Gaye song on here. It was either Sexual Healing or Let's Get It On. But in the song list I put it in, this sounds better. I think it's just the kind of funk guitar sound that it's got in it.
Right.
Real understated, but it's there. And Marvin Gaye's going up and down. in his vocal range, because that's what he did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the winter of 1981, Marvin Gaye had relocated to Austin, Belgium, following the end of his European tour. He had problems with the IRS, and at the end of his second marriage. Struggling with depression and cocaine addiction, Gaye had agreed to move to Austin on the advice of longtime resident Freddie Cussart. While in Austin, Gaye began to curb his drug use and recover from his depression, because he would go to the beach and write songs. Gaye also began cutting ties with his longtime record label, Motown. Following the release of In Our Lifetime, an album he did not consider finishing, he said that he would never record with Motown again and accused it of betraying his creativity. But while still working with Motown, Gaye had received offers from labels including IRS Records, Arista Records, and Elektra. Afterwards, he sought to make a deal with CBS Records, and they offered him a contract. CBS agreed to sign him and help clear his financial debt, and he spent a year negotiating. In the meantime, Gaye needed spending money, so Cussart set him up with a month-long England tour, beginning in June 30th, and then July 1st in 1981. The tour was called A Heavenly Love Affair Tour 1981, named after his song Heavenly Love Affair, from In Our Lifetime. After returning to Belgium that July, Gaye performed 2 shows at Austin's Casino Cristal on July 3rd and 4th in 1981. The tour's commercial and critical success further renewed Gaye's musical confidence. So he was thinking about getting out of music because Motown had kind of screwed him so much. I've heard a lot of people say that about Berry Gordy. He was real big on getting people up there, but toward the end, he seemed to kind of quelch their creativity. I don't know how much of that is true, but I've heard it from more than one person. It wasn't just Marvin Gaye, but several other people have said the same thing. So maybe there was a change in Berry Gordy. Maybe there was a change in management that Berry Gordy had no part of. I don't know, but I can say that I'm glad he made this record, because I think Sexual Healing is probably one of his best songs. What do you think?
I mean, I like the song. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I agree it goes in this list. It definitely fits in this list. I'm sure lots of people have put this one in their list.
Yeah, this is a good playlist song. The next one is a hip hop song. There is this movement in hip hop to get back to an R&B roots, mostly because of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who kind of helped on this song as well. So there's a lot of good singing in this song, but it is No Diggity by Blackstreet. I know you know the song.
No.
You don't know this song at all?
I mean, I'd have to listen to it, but off the name, I don't know it at all.
I like the way you work it. No diggity. I like to bag it up. I like the way you work it. And I'm murdering this song.
Oh, I know the song. I'm not a fan of this song. No. No, not a fan of this one at all.
R&B group Blackstreet. It was the first single of their second studio album, Another Level. It featured Dr. Dre and Queen Pen. It was released on July 29th, 1996. The song reached number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. It also released number 1 in Iceland and New Zealand. No Diggity ended Macarena's 14-week reign at the top of the Billboard Hot 100. So yeah, it pushed the Macarena off the top spot when it was released. In the United Kingdom, the song peaked at number 9. No Diggity is the final number 1 single of Cashbox magazine. The track sold 1.6 million copies and won the 1998 Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or a Group with Vocals. The song ranked at number 91 in Rolling Stone and MTV's 100 Greatest Pop Songs, and it ranked at number 32 on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of the 90s. A lot of people have this in their top list, but it was co-produced by Teddy Riley originally offered the song to the band Guy as part of their short-lived reunion in 1996. And after failing to record any material, he then suggested the song to Guy's lead singer, Aaron Hall, who refused to take part in recording the song. He then offered the song to this other group, Blackstreet. In a 2010 interview, Riley revealed the song was initially a hard sell among group's members. He stated, "None of the guys like No Diggity. None of them. They wouldn't even say it. That's why I'm singing the first verse. You know how they say they push the little one out there to see if it tastes good and see if it would get egg. Well, they pushed me out there and it became a hit. And now they wish they were singing the first verse so they can have the notoriety like me. So they trust what I'm saying." The beat to No Diggity was initially offered to rapper Tupac for his Death Row debut, All Eyes on Me, by label boss Suge Knight. But with Dre leaving the label, he sold the beat to Teddy Riley. Upon the release of the finished recording by Backstreet, Tupac and Death Row responded with a diss track containing numerous insults aimed at Dr. Dre over an instrumental sampling of No Diggity. The Blackstreet issued a cease and desist order, and they quit distributing the song. So that's basically all I have on No Diggity. So you're not a fan of this one at all.
No.
You don't like the beat. You don't like the rap, the singing, none of it.
No.
Barry White's It's Ecstasy is the next song, or It's Ecstasy When You Lay Down Next to Me. It's a hit song by American singer Barry White. The song was written by Eucadiyo Paris and Nielsen Pigford and arranged by Barry White. Released from his album, Barry White Sings for Someone You Love. Spent 5 weeks on top of the R&B singles charts in the fall of 1977 and was also a big hit on the pop charts, peaking at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles charts. What do you think about this tune by Barry? Do you know this tune by Barry White?
I'm not familiar with this one, but I think you could put just about any Barry White song.
I was thinking, I was like, I got to put a Barry White song in here if it's going to be Swisher music.
You know, you could do
this fit best.
You could do Never Gonna Give You Up. You could do I'm Gonna Love You Just a Little More, Baby. I think just about any Barry White song could make this list without a doubt.
Love me some Barry White. Yeah, I was debating on Teddy Pendergrass as well, but I couldn't find a Teddy Pendergrass that kind of fit in the list. So I may do another one of these later on. The final song is a country song.
Okay.
Freddie Fender's Before the Next Teardrop Falls.
Okay.
This is a nice song just to listen to, just when you're laying down, just kind of staring at the ceiling fan. But Before the Next Teardrop Falls, an American country and pop song written by Vivian Keith and Ben Peters and made most famous recording by Freddie Fender. Jerry Lee Lewis even recorded a version of it on his 1969 album, Another Place and Another Time. The song was written in 1967, has been recorded more than 24 times by Dwayne D. and Linda Martell. But in 1974, record producer Huey P. Moe approached singer Freddie Fender about overdubbing vocals for the instrumental track. Fender agreed, performing the song bilingually. So he busts out in Spanish in the middle of the song, and it is great. I think the Spanish part's the best part of this song. But it's got a nice steel guitar. It's nice and chill, just relaxing. It made it to top 40 radio in 1977.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a number 1 Billboard Hot 100 hit as well. Billboard ranked the song number 4 as the number 4 song of the year 1975. But the song is about a man's undaunted determination to save his heart from his just departed object of his deep but unrequited love, and sincere hope that should the woman's new relationship not work out, she will remember his love and return to him. I'll be back before the next teardrop falls. And again, then he busts out in Spanish, and it's just great. This is like a corrido. Honestly, you almost hear this song playing in some old Western saloon. Some dude just singing it with a guitar. But yeah, that's about it for this list of Dancing in the Dark songs. I may do another one of these later on. I don't want to do all indie lists all the time. So
right.
Again, I'm going to do another list probably in 15 episodes. That seems to be what we've been doing, and people seem to like it. So I'll do something a little different next time. Maybe I've got a metal list I'm working on. I got a couple of hip hop lists I'm working on. So,
well, next time, hopefully you'll send me the list in advance and I can listen to them.
Okay. Yeah. I will put them on our website too as well.
But I had 3 songs that to me fit in this list that I'm. 2 of them I'm not necessarily surprised that you don't have them in here, but one I definitely am. But the first one that I would have put in here is "Tango in the Night" by Fleetwood Mac.
The actual song "Tango in the Night."
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes,
yeah,
and I thought that should have been in here. "Wicked Game" by Chris Isaak.
Oh yeah, so that one and another one on that album, I kind of toyed with putting those in here too. "Wicked Game," and I can't remember the name of the other song, but it was like "If You Leave" or "Come Back to Me." Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
And then the last one, "Love Song" by The Cure.
Yeah, I'm dumb.
"Love Song" by The Cure should have definitely been in this list.
Okay, so these are going to go into our list. Well, it doesn't matter because you're just going to update the link. So whatever I do, the link, it'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and add those 3 because you're right. You're right on all 3 of those songs. And you think I should mix them in or put them at the end?
Just throw them at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can do.
Yeah, because those 3 definitely fit into this list that I would have definitely added in. And like I said, I am shocked that "Love Song" did not hit your list on this one.
Yeah, you and me both, now that I think about
it. Well, cool. Glad to have another one of these music lists. I really do enjoy these. I do. When I get to hear them first, I generally like to go and hear them, but I'll go back and listen to these now. So hope everybody else does that as well, because these are usually some really good lists, good stuff to go through. And you can decide if you agree with us, if you agree with Ziggy, disagree with Ziggy, agree with me, disagree with me. It doesn't matter, but definitely go and listen to that.
Sweet.
Well, with that, then we'll step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For my story today, I got my information off Medium, WPFB 25 News, the Palm Beach Post, Chilling Crimes, and True Crime Daily. And this is the story of Tricia Todd.
Tricia Todd.
Now, on the fateful day of 26th of April 2016, saw events that still paralyze law enforcement officers with fear, a tragedy of unprecedented proportions that left a young mother dismembered into unrecognizable pieces, stashed carelessly away in a plastic tub filled with acid.
Good God.
Yeah, there's the start of it for you.
Yeah, I'd say that's a hell of a warm-up, buddy.
Our tragic story surprisingly involves 2 star-crossed lovers, both of whom met very different ends. Tricia Todd, who was 33, was the only sister to 7 brothers and was often described by anyone who got to know her as the life of the party. She was vivacious, outgoing, and colorful, and she found her first love in her childhood, Stephen, whom she later joined the Air Force with and eventually married. Stephen Williams, on the other hand, was described by many as a model citizen. He was law-abiding, responsible, and gentle in his mannerisms. He was the perfect gentleman and an ideal father figure to their 2-year-old daughter, Faith. Unfortunately, after 11 years of what on the outside seemed like a successful marriage, the pair decided to part ways. And unlike most divorces, this one was extremely harmonious, so much that Tricia even denied alimony, claiming she made enough income at her job as a registered nurse. Co-parenting efforts by the 2 were also well handled, despite the distance that came from Tricia moving to Hobie Sound, Florida, in the hopes of reconnecting with her family, and Stephen staying at a military base in North Carolina. Although Tricia had custody of Faith, Stephen could visit him anytime he wanted and spend time with his daughter, and he so often did. However, one of these same visits in the last week of April would end in disastrous and gruesome outcomes. With the hope of visiting his daughter, Stephen had rented an Airbnb in Florida, and as planned, Tricia had left Faith with him for the night. The following day, she failed to pick up Faith, compelling Stephen to drop her off with the babysitter and head back to work. Taking note of her uncharacteristic leave from work and failure to collect her daughter, her family filed a police report with the local sheriff's department, and so the search began. Her family first went to her house to check if she was there, and there were some preliminary warning signs immediately, which included her car not being parked in the usual parking spot. Her purse was still in the car, which would typically indicate she wouldn't have gone off very far without some cash on hand. The lights on her house had also been left on, implying that wherever she had gone, she intended to return soon, and there was no activity on her bank accounts, credit cards, or her cell phone. The first conclusive clue came with video footage of a local grocery store on the night she disappeared, showing that Tricia had shopped there. Shortly afterwards, it was found that the groceries she had picked up were at the house, confirming she had made the trip back. The story developed further when a witness came to the forefront claiming he had seen Tricia leave that evening. The timings of this were tallied up with her cell phone records, which proved she had been at Stephen's Airbnb that night. It was proven later that Stephen had called Tricia over, claiming that Faith felt unwell, and after spending a few hours with her daughter, Tricia left for home, or so Stephen claimed. He said he had no idea where Tricia was, but he confirmed that she would sometimes go out to walk and connect with God, that she would always do this alone, and her family also claimed that this was true. Police did look into this and discovered that she frequently went for walks alone along the beach, and one man in particular had spoken to her, but he was quickly cleared of involvement as security footage revealed that on the night Tricia went missing, he was on the beach watching turtles lay eggs. There was no sign of Tricia in that footage. They also looked at men in Tricia's life, and one man in particular that she seemed obsessed with, but there was nothing at all to connect him or anyone else to Tricia's disappearance. This made Stephen the last person who had any contact with Tricia before she vanished into thin air. The cops described him as cheerful, nice, compliant, and wanted to cooperate as much as possible, and he even went so far as to volunteer for a lie detector test, which came out inconclusive. We've talked about lie detector tests before.
Yep. Lie detector tests don't measure lies. They measure stress.
Right. So this one came out inconclusive. This, coupled with his gentle nature and a spotless record that went back to his childhood, immediately cleared Stephen of any suspicion. So police began to look through Tricia's belongings, like her cell phone and diary, to try to figure out where she may have gone. However, new revelations were soon to come to light, making the police doubt their hasty judgment. When searching through her personal belongings, the investigators came across a daily journal that Tricia had kept, one that surprisingly shed light on a dark side to Stephen that even Tricia's own family, who had practically watched Stephen grow up, were unaware of. The journal revealed that Stephen had been abusive towards Tricia in the past and had even once brutally kicked her in the stomach while she was pregnant with her baby daughter. He'd even killed several of Tricia's pet dogs, and new statements by Stephen's mother revealed he hated Tricia and hoped for her to disappear. His motivations for such desires, however, still remained a mystery. Once the investigation had deemed Stephen as a potential suspect, the story soon began to unravel and fall into place. Investigators soon found security footage that unmistakably identified Stephen as driving both his and Tricia's car at different times during the night. A security camera near Tricia's house also captured a figure of a young black male with a military rucksack disappearing into the shadows, and once confronted with the evidence, Stephen caved. Initially, he claimed he had merely stumbled upon his wife's dead body and decided to dispose of it, but later, when his story changed to him claiming that he accidentally killed her when he punched her with great force, one thing was for certain: Tricia was dead. When questioned about the whereabouts of Tricia's body, he claimed he had disposed of it in an isolated area. However, after 5 weeks and thousands of man-hours, the search came up empty. It was apparent then that Stephen would have to be offered something in exchange for his real confession. This something came to be a plea deal of 35 years and a charge of second-degree murder, which he graciously accepted. It was only then when the true horrors of what happened that night truly came out. The tragedy had been anything but an accident. Instead, it was a premeditated, cold, and calculated murder.
That's why he wanted a deal. He committed murder one.
Yep.
Wow.
Stephen said he planned to kill Tricia in advance, but although he spent all day with her the day of the murder, he couldn't get up the nerve. He did not visit Florida to spend time with Faith. He actually went to Florida to kill Tricia. Finally, Stephen told him that he was determined to do it and texted Tricia that their 2-year-old daughter, who was spending the night with him at the Airbnb, was sick. When Tricia showed up at his door that night, Stephen was already waiting with the acid and power tools he had purchased in North Carolina. He said he first tried to strangle her, but waited for her to regain consciousness so he could force her to reveal her email passwords and other information. Stephen said he planned to write fake emails to make the Todd family think she had just gone to Haiti on a mission trip. But when Tricia regained consciousness, she only screamed, so Stephen said he beat her in the head with a club until she quieted, then he choked her to death. The entire time, their daughter was sleeping in the next room.
Oh.
After beating her repeatedly until she let out her dying breath, he put her body in a 2x3 feet plastic box and drove up to Hungryland Wild Reserve, where an unmarked grave had already been dug out by him days ago. He started off by removing those parts of her body which might lead to her to be identified, such as fingertips and teeth, and scattered them across the area, and then he proceeded to dismember her. He had planned to drive her car, and this is where his plan began to unravel. There was no gas in Tricia's car, so he had to go buy some, which placed him on the various security footage tapes. He then placed her in a bag of acid and dumped her in the hole, placing a red flag on top of the ground, marking the place where her remaining body rested. After burying her, he finally disposed of his power tools at the bottom of a lake nearby. Stephen eventually led police to where he had buried the tub containing Tricia's body parts. In exchange for revealing the location, he was charged with the lesser count of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Tricia's death was a violent, brutal death, and Stephen no doubt faced the death penalty had he not taken the plea deal. Authorities did say that if they had known at the time what Stephen had done to Tricia, they never would have given him a plea deal that spared his life. His motivation behind such a cold-blooded act of atrocity against his own daughter's mother remains unclear to this day. Some suspect that he wanted full custody of Faith, or that he was faced with financial troubles, or that he was just a psychopath with deep-rooted anger issues. We might never know. Regardless of the cause, this case will go down the history books as one with a sad and gruesome ending to a seemingly loving relationship. At the sentencing, the judge said it was clearly less than full justice. However, without the plea deal that was put in place, the family may have actually never known what happened to Tricia Todd in the first place.
Yep.
And that is the tragic story of Tricia Todd.
Well, that was awful, but thank you for the information.
Well, I think they're all awful. Very, very rarely do any of them have happy endings.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, I am covering murder. So, awesome. Thanks for taking that trip with me. Thanks for the trip with all the music. I really appreciated that.
Sure.
That'll take us to the end of a recording week. As always, remember you can find our information on nerderymurdery.com, where you can find the links from this episode, plus pictures and amongst other information. You can also find our contact information there, where if there's things that you want to hear, things that you don't want to hear, please do let us know, because we do take all that into consideration when we do our shows.
We also have a YouTube page. It's got videos and links to these playlists and things that you can find there as well. So please give us and you can leave comments. So give us a shout out.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
On our website, you can also find the link to our merchandise. So if you wish to show off your Nerdery and Murdy fandom, please do check out what we have to offer there. You can also find the link to our patrons, our Patreon. So if you wish to donate to the show, help keep us going, we sincerely appreciate each and every one of you.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. And last, please don't forget to leave a 5-star review wherever you can. Helps our show and helps other people find our content. So we do appreciate each and every one of you that do that as well. It's completely free. It only takes a minute of your time. So with that,
I have been Zig with your Nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery.
Cue the music.